And I thought we should start here just reviewing briefly. Social services encompasses many different types of work, different programs, different kinds of services. It also includes a variety of settings, so places like educational institutions, government programs, and nonprofit agencies. But I think the most important thing to remember about social services is that it focuses on service to others and to the community. So this is a question I'm asked frequently. Where do social services professionals work? And they truly are just about everywhere in your community. They're working in city and state offices. They are in a variety of educational settings, schools, summer camps, after school programs. They're in programs such as food banks and soup kitchens. Many of our students and graduates are working for area agencies or community mental health centers, community action programs. So for example, Southwestern Community Services, Tri-County CAP are two of those agencies in our area. They coordinate many different services, programs like WIC, fuel assistance, and so forth. And also family resources centers. That's another spot where social services professionals may be working. So then the next part is, okay, if social services professionals are out in the community and all these different kinds of places, what exactly are they doing? Well, they're working with many other individuals, groups. So some social service professionals may be focusing on working with children, youth, and families. Some may be individuals with developmental disabilities. Just a couple of other examples of specific populations: older adults, those experiencing homelessness, adults with persistent and severe mental illness, and individuals with substance use disorder. And again, these are just a couple of examples, just to give everyone a sense of the range here. Types of social services jobs. There are many different types of positions. If you just, go on Indeed, you can get a really good sense of what is out there. But in general, I think we can break the jobs into four different major types of positions. So the assistant positions, these are entry-level positions. They usually involve direct and indirect care and also some administrative support. So these positions might include, some of that frontline work, being the reception person, helping with intake paperwork and that type of process. Another major group of positions would be classified as workers. And so these positions provide a very specific service. So it might be community outreach, it might be program eligibility, home visiting, information and referral. And again, those are just a couple of examples. And then we have manager positions. These are positions that involve overseeing a specific program area within an agency. And so that usually includes, several different responsibilities. It usually is focusing on supervising staff members and, of course, monitoring the budget. That's a major responsibility. And then the fourth group, I simply put other, there are many specialized positions such as a social worker or a licensed clinical mental health counselor. Those positions do require advanced training. So River Valley Social Services Program does a couple of different things. We do have our certificate, and that has helped many graduates obtain those entry-level positions in a variety of social service settings. Our associate degree opens up even more opportunities. Again, there are a wide range of positions that would fall under that classification of worker. Manager positions, it does vary depending upon the agency and the specific responsibilities of a position. Some manager positions, though, can certainly be filled by someone with an associate degree. Others, again, depending upon the specific duties, may specify a bachelor degree. One thing I am seeing more and more of, which is really exciting, is that many agencies, they want to grow their employees. So we're seeing more and more graduates getting hired, working their way up the ladder, earning promotions, and also receiving incredible benefits to help them to continue on with their education. And then I did just want to touch briefly on early childhood education. Again, a broad term. We're talking about young children aged birth through 8 years. Again, a variety of settings, but it comes down to working with young children and their families. And that's an important piece. Yes, of course, children are the focus, but families is another important part of this work. Early childhood educators also work in many different settings. Sometimes folks hear early childhood and they think childcare, preschool. And we definitely have many students and graduates working in those settings. We do, though, have folks out there working in other settings, running their own business as a family childcare provider, working for Head Start and after school programs in an elementary school. We're also seeing more students and grads exploring options for working in Montessori and Waldorf programs. Again, early childhood educators, they're working with children, infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and young elementary school students. Again, they're working with families and many, many different types of families. We're seeing blended families, foster parents, grand families, you name it. And an effective early childhood educator has to be prepared to work with any and all families. Early childhood educators also work with other staff members at their site. So for example, other teachers, site supervisor, cook, bus driver, office manager, maintenance worker. Again, it depends on the settings. They're also working with consultants and other professionals that are working at their site, especially as most early care and education programs are usually serving several children with special needs. So we might have a special educator, occupational or physical therapist, a speech language pathologist, a nurse, or a nutritionist helping to work with that child. And types of early childhood education jobs. Definitely many different types of assistant, associate, and lead teacher positions working directly with young children. Supervisory positions such as a center director. And then just as with social services, other positions that do require some additional education, such as a technical assistance specialist. These folks are often working with programs to help them on large projects, such as implementing a new curriculum, focusing on new policies and procedures, doing specialized in-house professional development. Licensing specialists, these are our regulators. They're the ones that are going out and ensuring that programs are adhering to all relevant childcare licensing rules. And then workshop trainers. So the River Valley difference, we're just so proud of our social services and early childhood programs, our students and our grads. What makes River Valley special is, as Laura, hinted, we're a small college, but we have so much available to share with our students. We're committed to student-centered scheduling and small class sizes. At River Valley, you're not going to walk into a giant lecture hall and disappear and be one of 200 students. No, I'm going to know you. Other instructors are going to know you. You're going to get to know your classmates. Our programs, both early childhood and social services, include program electives. And these are important courses that allow students to focus on areas of interest. So for example, right now we have many social services students that are very interested in working with children, youth, and families. So they're taking courses like crisis intervention, introduction to infant mental health, trauma-informed early childhood services, to help them to really begin to explore that area. For the early childhood program, again, we want students to focus on areas of interest. So right now I am working with several students that know for sure they want to work with infants and toddlers, or they're already working with that 0 to 3 age group. And so they're doing courses that focus on that age range through their program electives. Our faculty, we have a great team teaching social services and early childhood courses. We each have our own unique experiences that we bring to classes, certainly specialized knowledge. And also one really great thing is that we are all doing ongoing work in the profession. So, we have folks that are working on state projects. We have folks serving on local boards, just out there doing a lot of different things with agencies in our community. Academic advising, I know Liz is also going to talk about that. For early childhood and social services students, I will guide them through the program. I'll talk with them. We'll really hone in and define those goals so we can ensure students are taking, the best program electives. We have an incredible ACT center, but also if there's anything specific to social services, early childhood, I can assist with transfer and career placement, and we have strong ties to the region. Our student success stories, our graduates are doing so many different things, providing direct services. We also have strong advocates. Our grads are out there, just doing everything they can for the individuals and families that they serve. We have many that have, again, gone on to earn promotions, and now they're mentoring other staff. That's one of my favorite parts of the job is when I'm placing a student, for a practicum placement or a fieldwork placement. And, I discovered that the staff member that's going to be supporting them actually graduated from River Valley, 10 years ago or whatever. That's just always so exciting to reconnect in that way. Our graduates are implementing new services and approaches. As I mentioned, they're continuing their educations and earning promotions. What it really is all about is making a difference in the lives of others. And again, we're just so proud of the work that they're doing and invite others to come and learn more about it. So I'll stop sharing and stop talking. I'm sorry, I ran through a lot there, but I just wanted to cover the basics and, certainly questions or anything I need to clarify, I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, and our participants here, we just love to get any questions you might have. Feel free to just unmute yourself and ask away, and we'll be happy to field those if you have them. That's great, Kerry.
Thank you.
Kerry, would you, I'm sorry, Kirsten. Kerry, I know this year with the challenges with COVID, most of your courses were online. What does it look like for next fall for the early childhood and social services?
Yeah, so we're doing a couple of different formats. We are going to have some courses that will be running 100% online. Most of our introductory level courses, we're going to do hybrids. So students will be doing some work online, but then we're going to do Zoom meetings. We aren't going to be face-to-face in the fall, just again to, be safe. We aren't sure how the summer's going to go, but we'll have Zoom meetings that will be live. So again, it won't be just typing on the screen. We're going to get it talk together. We use breakout rooms for small group activities. We, have students do presentations. So we really try to, even though we aren't all together in one room physically, we still try to use a variety of different activities to enhance the work we're doing together.
Thank you. And I know you mentioned this, but just in case folks didn't hear, there are multiple options in both the early childhood and social services. You can do a 1-year certificate, a 2-year degree, and the early childhood education has 3 separate certificates. So there's a lot of options. And we always like to say in admissions that these are stackable credentials. So if you earn one and you decide you want to keep going, you can earn another certificate or go right on to the associate degree. And that's what I love about those stackable credentials, because eventually, if you want to keep going, you can transfer those credits out elsewhere as well. So
Absolutely. And one other thing that's interesting is that we have a good number of students that are doing a degree in one program and a certificate in another. And for some positions, that has worked out extremely well for students to really market themselves. So for instance, I had a couple of students that were interested in working for Head Start. So if they were going to be in the classroom working directly with children, they had that associate degree in early childhood, but they also had a social services certificate so they could, clearly show, yes, I know what I'm going to be doing in the classroom with the children, but I know how to partner effective with families. I know how to help families connect with other resources. And then vice versa, we had a student that really wanted to be in the family advocate position, but also had an early childhood certificate to go with her social services degree. Again, just to show that I'm committed to this population. I have the background that, connects to all aspects of the program.
And I'll just say, I took Kerry's class, Health, Safety, and Nutrition. I was a new grandmother.
Oh my gosh,
And
that was so long ago.
I needed an elective for my degree, so I thought, why not? And she gave out scratch and sniff stickers on your test, so that was always good. But I just want people to know that you can be a liberal arts major and take one of Kerry's classes. It's all about choice, and using those open electives and those liberal arts, all those electives you can use, you can pick and choose what interests you. So don't be afraid of taking an early childhood class or social services. They're really interesting, I think. And it's a fun class.
Well, I'm glad you have fond memories.
I do. My granddaughter lived to tell the tale, so I took good
There
care of
we
her.
go.
Thank you so much, Kerry. So Liz, you can sort of connect it to, so the students interested in social services, they would go to a different advisor, but if a student was interested in other liberal arts courses and they could take Kerry's as an elective, what would they do after submitting an application? How do you work with your advisees?
Oh, sure. So I have some slides to show you guys as well. So let me see if I can share my screen. But if you have any questions that come up along the way, please interrupt me because I'd be happy to talk to you. Let's see. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Step one. So Kirsten is right. So once you get through the admissions process with Kirsten, Suzanne, and Laura, you've completed the application, you've been accepted to the college, you'll get an email that says contact your new advisor. If you're in liberal arts or business management, you'll contact me. Typically, the first thing I do when I meet with a student, especially if they're enrolling in liberal arts, is I ask, do you have some sort of plan or some sort of goal? Do you have a dream job in mind? Do you have a college that you're interested in transferring to? Do you have a program maybe that you're interested in transferring to? And then depending on that answer, we'll start to map out a pathway for them to reach that goal. In some cases, the student is working towards a program at River Valley, maybe like our registered nurse program, or Rad Tech. So we'll work closely together to complete some prereqs and co-reqs, and then hopefully get them into their new program. In other cases, the student is hoping to transfer to a four-year college. So in those cases, typically what I do is try to map out general education requirements with the student that they can complete at River Valley and then transfer to their four-year school. And hopefully with that, they'll enter as a junior and go right into their major classes. Touched on this a little bit, but we have a lot of different students in liberal arts, and it's a good fit for a lot of different students for different reasons. Some students want to earn their AA degree in liberal arts. I'm working with two students this spring who they'll finish up in May, they'll graduate. And they've already lined up promotions with their current company. So these are students who have worked for their company for 4 or 5 years. They've really proved themselves as great workers, but they were missing that credential to be able to move along to that next step. So in some cases, that's perfect for those students. I think we have a few students attending right now who are not sure about their major, and liberal arts is also a great fit for those students. If you want to try out a few different courses, maybe in a few different areas, liberal arts is a great way to do that. Kerry is right. One of our most popular open electives is Intro to Social Services. It's a great way to try out a new program and see if you're interested in taking it, any further. Intro to Business is another open elective that students are they take quite frequently, just to test out the major and see if business is a good fit for them, or if they maybe, want to explore something else. We have a lot of students, especially this past year, we've had a lot of students who plan to attend a 4-year college and earn their bachelor's, but they've started at River Valley because they can stay home and complete their general education requirements. Community college offers the least expensive option for college credits in the state. So it's a great way to get through your general education requirements and then transfer to your 4-year school while you're ready. And then I also touched on this briefly, but we have some students in liberal arts who are working toward becoming accepted to a more competitive program. So maybe it's a student who really wants to get into our RN program, registered nurse, but she needs or he needs a few more, might need that AMP credit to make their application stronger and get into that program. They could do that in liberal arts and then, prepare to move on to that next program when they're ready. In general, the liberal arts program is 60 requirements. Some students complete the full program and graduate from liberal arts and then transfer. Some students will stay with us for a year, maybe a year and a half, complete some credits, and then move on before they've graduated. So these are the requirements for the liberal arts degree. As you can see, there's a lot of flexibility. So it gives you the option to choose the classes that work for either your transfer goals or just for you to, explore different interests. Under the open electives, you have 9 to 12 credits. So that's where you could fill in with Intro to Business, Intro to Social Services, something like that, and just explore different areas that you're interested in. I'm very surprised that this past fall, the most popular humanities class seems to be sign language. Our students absolutely seem to love it. So it's a very interesting class. There's different areas in liberal arts where you can play around and just, find out about different interests. As the liberal arts advisor, I work very closely with the 4-year colleges in New Hampshire on transfer agreements and articulation agreements. So some of the colleges that we work closely with are Keene State, UNH, Southern New Hampshire, Granite State, Plymouth State, Colby Sawyer, New England College, and Rivier. We also work with quite a few colleges and universities throughout New England outside of New Hampshire. And if we don't have a pathway set up with them, we can create one if we have a student who's interested in attending. So I think it's very fun to work on these agreements. It's interesting to see how our gen eds line up with different programs and how we can fit all of that together into one map and make it work for the student for that 4-year degree. This is the start of an example of a transfer pathway for Southern New Hampshire. So we've created transfer pathways for a lot of our different programs and with the different 4-year colleges in the state. This is just the start of an example so that you can see kind of, what you would look at if you were a student that planned to transfer. In this case, this would be for a student who is entering into liberal arts at River Valley and then plans to transfer to Southern New Hampshire for their online BA in psychology. So what we can do on the left side, you'll see these are River Valley courses. And then on the right side, you'll see how those courses would transfer to SNU and line up to your BA in psychology program. So for some colleges, we have transfer pathways set up like this. And then for some colleges, we work more we work with students more to have them complete the gen ed requirements at River Valley and then transfer to their four-year college when they're ready. So this is a screenshot of the start of a spreadsheet that we have with UNH where they list their different discovery requirements. That's what they call their gen ed requirements. And then these are a list of our courses that match up and would transfer to those requirements. So this is a lot of information, but basically they're just examples to show you that if you have any plans to transfer, you can start at River Valley and you'll be in good hands. And that's really all I had, but if you have any questions for me, please let me know.
Yes, I have a question. This is Suzanne. I know that for me, many, many moons ago, I was a liberal arts major at a community college, and I took a year or two off after I got my associate degree in liberal arts. And then I applied to Keene State. And this was a long time ago, but I was able to transfer 100% of my credits into Keene State and did enter as a junior. And I was just curious, I know that there are some colleges out there that will take almost any major if you have earned that associate degree, like Plymouth State University. But I'm wondering about the other local state colleges and universities in New Hampshire. Do you need to transfer in with the liberal arts, or will some of them take other majors?
In some cases, they'll take other majors. For the most part, right now, we're working with four-year colleges to try to have basically just set students up to transfer as many credits as possible. So Southern New Hampshire will accept up to 90 credits. Again, the liberal arts program is only 60 credits. So you can complete 30 more at Southern or at River Valley if you'd like, but basically you've earned that associate degree and you're ready to transfer. Keene State will also accept up to 90 credits. Plymouth will take all of the credits that you've earned through liberal arts and transfer them into their block transfer program. I believe UNH takes up to 72 credits. So really you can complete the full liberal arts program at River Valley and then expect those credits to transfer. In general, you need to earn a C or higher in your courses to transfer them to a four-year college. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But if the student meets with an advisor and says, I'm planning to transfer, let's map out the courses that I need to take, and that student earns a C or higher, I'm very confident that all of those courses will transfer to that four-year college. And then you also have the option to work with an advisor at a four-year college while you work with me at River Valley. So if there's a course that I'm not sure about, it happened last week, I wasn't sure if principles of marketing would transfer to Keene State. So I reached out to the transfer counselor and found out that it would. So if you're not sure or you have any questions about what might transfer to that four-year college, get in touch with us in the ACT Center. And if we don't know the answer, we can find it with that four-year college.
All right, thank you. And there's a question in the chat about, do you work with New England College Institute of Art and Design?
Yes, we do. So New England College, we have a new agreement with them. I believe it was implemented last summer. So CCSNH graduates, you do have to graduate from our program. But if you graduate, you are guaranteed acceptance to New England College, and then you'll pay $5,000 per semester as a full-time student, up to 18 credits per semester. Full-time status for students is typically 12 to 15 credits. So really maxing it out to 18 is a lot. And New England College, their tuition is typically not $5,000 per semester. So that's a great deal for our graduates.
Wow, great.
And that
Rachel thinks that's awesome.
The cost factor is one of the most obvious reasons to start at a community college, but I really feel like there are other reasons. And I think Kerry touched upon some of these earlier. And some of those start with, the 5-to-1 faculty to student ratio. It's the lowest faculty to student or student to faculty ratio in the country. So, some courses obviously have more than 5 students to 1 instructor, but that's the average. So, I mean, if you're looking for an education that is personalized, a community college is a really great place to start. And the other thing I like to think about is, you know, we have this campaign going on about choosing community, and it really resonated this year with COVID and the way our students, mostly in the healthcare industries, have really reached out and, you know, worked in the community and helped the community throughout this crisis. But, you know, our faculty members and program directors and staff have all chosen to stay here in the community and work at the community college, when with the credentials that they have, they could have taught anywhere, they could have gone anywhere, but they chose to stay here. And many of them, like Kerry, have been with us for a very long time. And, you know, that it really speaks volumes to the quality of the education that you get when you stay close to home.
And I was reminded of that when I got my vaccine, and it was one of our nursing students, like, giving me a shot. It's just like, these are your neighbors. These are the kids you knew from the high school, you know. So it's really is a community, and it does say a lot that they stay. And I just will speak to quickly on the liberal arts side, being an alum of River Valley in 2009, but I digress. Something else to consider when you're working, as you're getting towards you're finishing up with River Valley, work with that new advisor. I went to Keene State and they took all my credits, but they said, you know what, you're shy of fine arts. We want you to take a fine art class. I kind of been skipping around it. And I said, oh, I wish I'd known that. I would have taken, you know, drawing or something. So get involved with that new advisor before you leave River Valley is a good tip, because they can kind of bookend your course selection with Liz, and maybe you need a physical science and a bioscience, who knows, but it's always good to know ahead of time. It just makes things go smoother. Liz, there was a question about, do you take credits from other colleges?
Yes, absolutely. For any of our programs, liberal arts is probably one of the easier programs to transfer into, because there's so much flexibility. We can turn a lot, or we can take a lot of courses as that humanities elective, or that social science elective. So it's typically easy to do that. What I do with students when I meet with them, typically in that first meeting, is ask if they have any previous college credits that they think might transfer in. If they do, or even if they think that there's a possibility, I'll ask them to request their transcript and send it to me, and then we can look at that transcript together and figure out if some of those courses will transfer in. In some cases, it makes sense to transfer in all of the courses that you can to get you as close as possible to that liberal arts degree. And then in some cases, we might leave a course or two out of your transcript evaluation and not transfer it in, so that you can take the course that you need at River Valley, and then transfer it to your next program.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's
Well,
great.
I was going to share a little bit of information about the financial part of River Valley and coming to college with us. Is that okay with you, Kirsten?
Yes, I was actually going to say thank you so much, Liz. I was having some technical problems, so I think I have my audio sorted out. But yes, that you were going to be speaking, Suzanne, about some of the CARES monies available in financial aid process as well.
Excellent. You do sound much better. Thank you.
I feel much better. Thank you.
Oh. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And I think this is just, I'm going to take you to the River Valley Community College website. This is available at rivervalley.edu, pretty easy to remember. And you see on our homepage here, we have the announcement of tonight's meeting. But this homepage has all kinds of different, sort of coming attractions and things that you might, so it'll vary. When you get to our homepage, there'll be different shots there and different messages. So keep a lookout for events and things that are happening right there at the homepage of our website. The way this is designed, you see right here, this is paying for River Valley Community College. But before we click there, I want to show you this, bring your attention to the top of the screen here where it says additional financial assistance is now available. When you click the Apply Now button, this is the page that is all about the coronavirus assistance funds that are being that are available through the federal government and the state of New Hampshire. The name has changed twice and it's about to change again. So that's why we put just a simple message up there. Additional financial assistance now available, because currently it's called the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, pleasantly known as CARISA funds. And you'll see CARISA is sort of like the acronym. This is the survey, and it's a survey / application that you go through and you fill out. It really, is pretty straightforward and not that difficult to qualify for these funds. And there are a lot of funds available. So students have seen a great reduction in their cost of their education this year because of these funds. And the good news is that by the end of the month, on April 30th, we're going to be changing the name of this fund source, but it will be still the same coronavirus relief funds under a new name, and you'll find it here on our page. So it is going to be available for the summer and for the fall semester at least, and we'll see if it keeps going. So that is funds above and beyond any other financial aid that you may be considering. You do need to fill out a FAFSA, and that is the federal student aid application. So I'm going to go to this tab now so you guys can just take a look and see what's available. So if you look at our first page under paying for RVCC, it displays the tuition costs, and we are the lowest tuition in the state of New Hampshire. Of course, all of our other community colleges, sisters, are also at the same rate. It's $215 per credit. It basically equates to a full-time student is about $6,500 a year. And when you compare that to some schools in the neighborhood, like Colby Sawyer's above $65,000, and some of the other private schools are, this is a significant cost savings. So even if you did your first year or your first 2 years with us and then transferred, you're looking at saving nearly $100,000 if you were going to go to one of those private schools. So that's the paying tuition and fees. I want to go to the next page. You can explore that on your own. What is financial aid? This is a great page because it really takes you through step by step what you need to do to apply for the financial aid that's available. The first and foremost is that FAFSA. So it's a federal form. It's available at studentaid.gov. It's not that difficult, although it has a reputation of being a really hard form to fill out. It's really not. There's an IRS retrieval tool now. So all you have to do is allow the federal aid to access your tax returns, and it autofills everything. So it's a beautiful thing. There right now for the 21-22 fiscal year, that's the financial aid form you'll need to fill out. They're looking at your taxes from 2019. So it's always a year and a half behind in the tax returns when you're filling out the financial aid. So those are little helpful hints. And you see when you get to this page here, you can see about the grants that we have available. Again, grants are money that you don't have to pay back. The student loans. And when we look at grants, when you apply for financial aid, you are typically awarded grants based on your income or not, but you'll almost always be eligible for at least student loans. And there's several different kinds. There's work studies and then scholarships. And I do want to just spend a moment here on scholarships because we at River Valley have so many scholarships available. So we have because we've been doing so well, we have a pretty good pool of money, both from our foundation at the system level. So there's a foundation that takes donations on behalf of all the community colleges, but also many private donors who work with us. And there's a whole page under paying for RVCC on scholarships. And I'm going to go to that page right now because I want to just describe two different places to explore when you look at financial aid, when you're looking at scholarships. So this sort of explains some tips and ideas. This page right here, Award Spring, so that's run by our system office. And when you go there, if you're a student, you just need to put in your easy login information. So that's your student email address and your password, and boom, you're in Award Spring. And it's going to show you every scholarship that's available. And you can apply for as many as you want to. Some are super easy, just click a few buttons. Others you have to write an essay for. But scholarships are money that does not have to be paid back. So I highly encourage students to look at these scholarships very closely. In addition to Award Spring, we have a ton of scholarships available from different programs to different just donors. This is outside of our system-wide scholarship opportunities. These are businesses and donors who just really truly believe in River Valley Community College and have decided to bequest money for students to go forward in their education. So you can see all of these little plus signs there are different scholarships that are available. And oh, look, there's early childhood education scholarships. So that's appropriate for our discussion tonight. So please, if you're going to come to River Valley, take a look at all the money that's available that you do not have to pay back first. And then, of course, you know, these scholarships also require the FAFSA. So you do have to fill that out to be eligible for the scholarships, even if you are not awarded grants based on your income. So we have like a Pell Grant, that's a federal grant. If you're not income eligible for that, you still may be eligible for any of these scholarships, and you just really need to fill out that FAFSA. And this how to apply for financial aid is going to take you to the website studentaid.gov, where you can fill out the free application for federal student aid. You just click the button and go at it. And it shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes to maybe a half an hour if you have to look for your documents. And this is our school code here. So that's it. That's a financial aid quick review. If anybody has specific questions about that, I'm happy to answer them. Although, you know, I work in admissions, we work so closely with financial aid because 85% of our students receive some sort of aid when they come to River Valley.
And I'll just pipe in, if any of the folks listening in tonight have high school age kiddos, or you want one yourself, we also have some early college programs that are in-state. You might get a STEM scholarship and not have to pay a dime for a course. There's Running Start courses, Bridge to College, take courses with us at a much reduced rate. So there's lots of stuff. If you let us know what your situation is, we can then steer you in the right direction on how to get the best bang for your buck as far as that goes.
And I think an important piece as well, because so many of our students do opt for part-time studies, is just that advising piece too, so students can understand, and through admissions as well, that once you connect with us and you've been accepted to a program, even before then, you want to submit your FAFSA application. And then you want to make sure that you're enrolled in enough credits if you're wanting to access financial aid, you know, to be able to at least apply and see if you're eligible. But then there's also, you know, again, with early childhood and some social service agencies that might provide employee tuition reimbursement too. So, and our financial aid office is definitely used to working with those sorts of situations as well. So lots of options.
Well, yeah, Kirsten, that's typically 6 credits minimum. So for financial aid to kick in, you need to take 6 credits, which is typically 2 classes. If they're 3 credit courses. So thinking about that and mentioning the Laura, the early college options. So this is such a great opportunity for high school students. If anybody on the call is not graduating this year and still has another year, you're able to take at least 2 more courses through our early college program. And with the STEM scholarship that the government has just reapproved for next year, by the way, that any STEM courses would be free, paid for by the government. So this is a great thing. And so these are math classes and science classes, and I think business classes are included in that as well. So yeah, and one of the nice little secrets is that when you graduate from high school in June, you are still eligible to take those early college classes in the summer, because the summer is considered the same fiscal year as the spring and the fall semester. So you're technically, even though you're not really a high school student anymore, as far as these STEM scholarships and the early the early college cost, we still consider you a high school student, and we'll give you that reduced rate or the free course.
Yeah, And we can talk, I put in the chat the date of the summer start of the semester, May 24th, and the fall, and the schedules there too. It's very easy. I don't think we even said that we have free applications now on our website, and a lot of the programs are instant admissions, and you get a notification very soon after you apply. There are some competitive programs, but we go over all that. And courses, again, you can get enrolled in a course in one day. It's not a big lift for us to work with you. We just check prerequisites if there are any. We get you a way to log in as a student, and away you go. So it's quite, I'd say, pretty easy to get enrolled. And I'd love to meet with you early, because you could get the choice of what you want. We do have some wait lists, but again, just check in with us on our schedules, and we can show you. We have different sections, and right now, especially with summer, we are doing a lot of live Zoom sessions, 100% online. The ones that meet face-to-face this summer are a lot of the lab classes that need that hands-on. But other than that, everything is posted a year out, so you can plan now, summer, fall, spring of next year. I don't think next summer yet. I could be wrong.
No, but as long as you're talking about that, Laura, since I've been talking about finances all night, I just wanted to make one more point that a lot of people don't realize. So tuition is technically due 2 weeks before the start of class. So if you're thinking about coming for the fall and you apply to business or liberal arts or social services or early childhood, for instance, you will get accepted immediately. As soon as you get your login information the next day, you can start registering for classes. And even if you haven't filled out that FAFSA yet, or you haven't figured out how you're going to pay for college, you can still register for classes. Your tuition bill is not due until 2 weeks before the courses start. So you're looking at, second week in August. So there's no need to wait.
Right, and you can always go in and add a class if you pick your first few, and then talk with your advisor and add that fourth class if you're going to go full time, or if you decided, no, I'm going to take a job in the fall and I need to scale it back, you can go into your portal and switch it up. So it's not written in stone.